It's Monday, February 5th, 2024, and this is episode 302 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Well, Dr. Mike, I've got some sad personal news to report. A little after our last episode, my father, David Duvall, passed away.
That was terrible to hear.
Yeah. It was not completely unexpected, but when it did finally happen, it went very quickly. And we were with him, and it was a peaceful death, so at least there was that. My dad, he wasn't much of a gambler. In fact,
No.
it took quite a few years to finally get him to go to Las Vegas with us, kind of as a family. Once he did, he really enjoyed himself. I think he liked the non-gambling parts of Las Vegas more than
Right.
the actual gambling. Although he did like the Wheel of Fortune machine, things like that. He certainly wasn't a table game player, but maybe would play a few machines. Gosh, compared to my grandfather, his father,
Right.
who loved to go and play the machines. We went with him several times.
Yeah.
Had a
Well, I
good time.
remember I always said it just skips a generation.
It skips a generation.
It skips a generation.
Yeah.
So your boys are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, their children.
Doesn't skip a generation in your family, apparently.
No,
It just keeps
you are what's called, Mark, a recessive trait in your family. In my
right.
family, it's a dominant trait.
That's
so dominant that nobody misses it.
The last time that he went with us, it was for my son David's 21st birthday, and he really enjoyed the Mob Museum, quite enjoyed. I think he liked the food there, too. He certainly wasn't a buffet person. He never wanted to go to the buffets. No, let's not go to the buffet. Let's go sit down.
Smart man.
Yeah, but anyway, of course he's going to be missed, and doggone it, it's sad. And we've talked about it, Mike. It's amazing that both of us have had parents that have lived so long.
Oh, yeah, we're in our
Because
60s.
So many
and
of our listeners have lost parents, of course. And I was definitely lucky to have them as long as I did.
And like I told you, Mark, your dad's up there doing his best to get the Padres in a World Series.
Oh, maybe that'll
All he can
happen.
do.
Yeah, he was a Padres fan going back to their early days in the Pacific
To
Coast
Lane
League.
Field.
Yeah. So he wasn't just a Padres fan since they hit the majors, in 1969. He was all the way through.
Yeah.
So he's a long-suffering Padre fan
Yeah.
as well. So hopefully he can help us out.
Either he's up there going to help us out, or God just decided he's had enough.
I'm not going to put him through anymore. They're moving to L.A. next year.
Yeah. Right. He's got it all figured out.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, Mike, I mentioned on the last episode that I was going to send you some possible trips for us to go on gambling trips this year, and I sent you that. Yeah, hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. Let's go over this
did.
list and be honest with what you may or may not be able to go to.
Well, I've got it worked down to 2. I'll just tell you that.
All right. Well, let's start from the earliest. We talked about March Madness. It's a late March Madness start this year. The Thursday of that big weekend is March 21st. So what is March Madness looking like?
March Madness is probably looking like a no-go.
Okay. I figured as much.
Just because there's too much going on here. It's end of the term for school.
Oh, it's not during the spring break for the schools?
No, it's not
Okay.
during my spring break.
Right. Well, understandable. The next trip is Biloxi, May 2nd through the 4th. Now, I've already indicated that unfortunately I'm not going to go to Biloxi this year. I had to make some decisions about trips to take. So that's a no for me. How about you, Dr. Mike?
Yeah, that's going to be a no too, because I just couldn't there's 6 trips you have listed here and I couldn't do them all. And so I had to get it down to ones that either I haven't done or I really want to go to. And so Biloxi was kind of just missed the cut.
Yeah, okay. Next on the list, and this does not have solid dates, the poker gang would like to go to the World Series of Poker for one of the events. However, they have not announced the schedule for the events for the World Series of Poker, other than the main event. They have dates for that. But for the other individual events, they have not released a schedule yet. So it would probably be sometime in June. I'm guessing that's also a no for you because there are a couple more June trips coming up. So
right,
all right.
And that's...
We'll skip by that one then. All right, next, the trip to Black Hawk, Colorado that Melissa and Tom are organizing. What do you think about that one?
Well, I do want to go there because that would be something that my wife would be interested in.
Oh, good.
Going
Okay.
to Colorado. Yeah.
Can we pencil you in? Can we use a pen? Because that's the middle of summer. You're not going to be working at the schools. I'm sure you'll have stuff to do.
Yeah.
But
I'll have stuff to do, but no, I'm thinking that one's good. Yeah. Let's pencil me in for...
All right. It's a pencil.
June 6th through the 9th.
Yep.
It's a heavy pencil, Mark.
Okay.
Those
Tom,
cheap number ones. It's a nice, solid number 2
one.
pencil.
Oh, good. The number 2 pencil, the one that'll work if you're taking a test.
Yeah.
All right. So those dates are tentative only because they gave several dates in June as possibilities. Eric Rosenthal and I contacted them and said, hey, June 6th to the 9th would probably be the best. So I will pencil you and Lynn in for that. Yeah, Sherry and I are both definitely going to that one, barring some unforeseen circumstance.
And Thomas doesn't live in Colorado.
No, neither one of them does. Yeah, but they've been scouting it out.
Yeah, and I looked at it when I saw that, and there are quite a few casinos in that area.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. Oh, yeah, very much looking forward to that. All right, and then also in June, Mark from the 360 Vegas podcast asked if we wanted to take part in 360 Vegas Vacation this year. So that would be only a few weeks later. What do you think about that one?
See, the thing is, it's 2 in June.
Yeah, and maybe 3 for me if I go to the World Series as well.
But yeah. Right. This was the problem with your list. The one in March and the one in May are real close. Yeah. And then there's 3 in June. It's like every weekend, right?
Yeah.
So it's impossible to do all of them. So, okay, that's my number 3.
Okay, so I will tell Mark that I'm going to go. Okay. Yeah, I'll plan on going regardless, and hopefully you can make it.
Yeah, and if I've really got nothing going on, I'll definitely go. But I just have to wait and see on that one.
Understood. All right, and the final possible trip, and there may be more that are added to this list by the end of the year, but the final one we've got right now is Zorkfest, which will be back in Las Vegas, November 1st through the 3rd.
Yep. That I will go to.
Okay, good.
Just because I want to go to Vegas really bad.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad time for me to go.
Okay.
So I'm looking at Zorkfest and I'm looking at Colorado in a very, very positive light.
All right.
The third one that I might go to is
360 Vegas
2
Vacation.
in June, but it'd be 360. At least there are one's early in the month and one's at the end of the month.
Yeah. All right. So Black Hawk, Colorado, June 6th through the 9th. Zorkfest in Las Vegas, November 1st through the 3rd. Probably Dr. Mike and I will both be going to those. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, things up in the air as far as family things go. My father is, a month or 2 ago, he was probably worse than your dad, but he's hanging on just by a thread, but he is hanging on. So that's why my plans are a little hesitant about.
Yeah. All right. Have you done any gambling since our last episode?
No, I have not. And last weekend I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I really strongly considered going this morning, but I had so much to do and I've got to chaperone a dance this evening. So I would have had to leave early. I wouldn't have been there very long. And I've got all this stuff to do because tomorrow I'm going up to our good friend Todd's house for a dice and drink.
So funny money. And a lot of booze.
Money, yeah, a lot of booze. And then he cooks, and he's a real good cook. So we always have a good meal and everything, and he's invited a bunch of people, and so that's the deal with that.
All right. You know what I'm doing tonight?
No.
I'm going to our friend Dave's poker tournament.
Oh, is there one?
Yeah, it's tonight.
I don't even think I got an invite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
probably off the list.
And maybe he knew you were moving away. So
yeah, I haven't been there in a while. So
this was usually my opportunity to see Paul. and he's moved
Right.
away. Of course, I did
And
see him
he's-
recently, but
Yeah, he has moved away.
Yeah.
I talked to him. He's settling in Texas on the Texas-Oklahoma border.
yeah. Anyway, I'll let you know how it goes. You're going to be at that dance. Otherwise, I would text you, how things are going. But
Well, if I get time, I'll text you.
okay.
If I can hear, it's a high school dance.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why the oldest person in the whole darn school is chaperoning, but
You
I
don't know
always joke
anything
with
about these kids and
Yeah,
their TikToks.
I am the oldest one in the school. Although I'm probably the funnest one as well.
Probably the funnest.
I was voted. They had before the dance bar.
Yeah.
They had a rally thing. It was like a whole week of activities, and one of the things was all the students in the auditorium, and they had voted all the kids in the school for certain categories.
Uh-huh.
And I was number 3 on the person that you would like to be with when there's a zombie apocalypse.
Number 3.
Number 3.
So why? That's not
The
even
other
worth
two-
mentioning, Dr. Mike.
Well, but the other 2 were young.
Yeah.
They just wanted them because they're strong. Then they wanted me because I'd get them through it.
Would you?
I'd find a cure for the zombie.
Keep
whatever.
them entertained, maybe I could see, but I don't know about actually getting them through the apocalypse.
And then many children came up and said they wanted to vote for me for best teacher, but they couldn't because, I wasn't on the list they were given because of being relatively new there.
Oh, all right. So you'll be on the ballot next year.
Yeah, if I'm there next year.
Okay.
Who knows?
All right.
But zombie apocalypse, I'm your guy.
I guess. Boy, I'll tell you, Dr.
Probably
Mike,
what they're thinking is that, the zombies will go after him. That'll keep him busy for hours. Look how big he is.
Now you're making some sense. All right. Now it makes sense. Thank you. Because I was struggling here. All right. Well, good luck to me tonight. Good luck to you tomorrow at
Yes.
Todd's.
Good luck. It should be easy for you without me and Paul there.
Yeah. Hey, Paul's a good
Paul
player.
and I.
You, I'm not so worried about.
Yeah, Paul is a good player.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemails. First up is Jason.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Just wanted to give you a quick trip report from the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa. Went there on a Saturday afternoon, checking out the situation with craps and roulette. They have 8 craps tables. 7 of them were $15, and one was a $25 table. I played on a $15 table and bought in for $500. Played for just slightly over an hour or so and won $800. There were just a line of decent shooters, like 3 or 4 shooters. And after looking at my rack, it's like, yep, I'm coloring up, and left. It's 3, 4, 5 times odds on their craps tables. It's only 2 times on 2 and 12 in the field. Buy bets. A good thing is for buy bets that you pay the vig on a win. That was really cool, especially since I was buying the 4 and 10. But there's no bonus bets, so no all tall small, no repeater, no fire bet. But other than that, it was good. It was, players were pretty good. Everybody was pretty chill, which was good. And the dealers were actually pretty good. I had heard a rumor that they were recruiting from other markets like Las Vegas, and noticed on some of the name tags of some of the dealers that they were from areas that had craps before, like New Orleans and Connecticut is what I noticed particularly. But yeah, crew was good. Players were good. Everyone was pretty chill, and it was a good time. The roulette situation was surprisingly, they had $5 tables at the roulette. And it's kind of surprising for that casino because I've been there several times, and usually everything is like, I rarely ever see anything that's below $25. I expected going in to have to play craps at $25, and now it was $15, and that was great. First time I ever played at that level. Usually I play $5 or $10 tables, but yeah, it's pretty good. Now the sports book seems to have been an afterthought. It was just basically a counter and some kiosks. It reminded me of some of the smaller sports books you find in downtown casinos, of course excluding Circa, where they just have a counter. Now, granted, the counter was a decent size, but they needed you to bet $100 minimum if you were going to bet at the counter. So it sounds to me that there's some work to be done on the sportsbook front at the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa. I haven't been to the other sports books in the state, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can build something nice where you can actually watch a game, and you can't even bet on horses either. So it's not a race book, just a straight sports book right now. Maybe that'll change. Well, anyway, just wanted to give you the situation here in Florida, and thanks for what you all do, and congratulations on 300 episodes. I wish you another 300. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, we've never been to the Florida casinos. I'm guessing in some cases they were built long before they anticipated sports betting coming. So that's might be why you see a sports book like that. And
I bet that's
it's not uncommon for there to be a higher minimum at the counter than at the kiosks. Although $100, that's high.
Yeah, that is high, but they have to make it viable to have employees there to take bets.
Yeah,
and stuff,
no,
right?
I certainly understand it.
And in today's world, I mean, who doesn't know how to use one of those kiosks?
Yes, it's an electronic. Well, the answer is you, Dr. Mike. You don't.
Yes, the answer is me. I shy away from them like crazy.
Not rhetorical, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for the report, Jason.
Do they still have highlight mark and dog racing in Florida?
Well, they don't have dog racing.
Right,
but
they got rid of that.
Highlight, I think they still do.
Well, sometime we're going to have to make a trip to Florida.
Yeah, I never really thought of that as a gambling destination, but maybe a single Seminole casino in Florida for a meetup. As you know,
go to Tampa and just go to this Hard Rock or something like that, and give me an opportunity to work on my tan.
I don't want to see that in action.
You, Mark, say, "Come on, Mike, let's go play craps." No, Mark, I'm enjoying myself here. Can you put some oil on my back?
I gotta go. All right, next call.
Mark and Dr. Mike. Hey, this is Dylan from Houston. That's right, the man who bet $1,000 on a single hand of baccarat and lost. Anyway, got a new one for you guys. Flew into Toronto to visit a lady friend of mine, and we went out to the Niagara Falls area over there. Apparently there's a bunch of casinos, little did I know. So, of course, we hit one of those up. It was the Fallsview Hotel and Casino in Ontario, Canada. So all the pricing that I'm about to give you is all in Canadian dollars. So I want to say the exchange rate, something like 74, 75 cents to every Canadian dollar. So the exchange rate's pretty good. $25 minimums at all the tables, except the roll to win table that I saw, the virtual. I haven't gotten a chance to play on one of these yet, so I was pumped. $15 minimums on that. Put in $100, hit a Hardaways real quick, basically played that down to where I was break even. When it came to tipping the dealer, apparently you punch in how much you want to tip them, and then they punch out a Tito ticket, and then you hand them the Tito ticket. So didn't know that. Thought that was a little interesting. Next stop, I hit the blackjack table, played for about 20 or 30 minutes, basically broke even on that, had a great dealer over there. She was real friendly, good banter back and forth. No free drinks. I don't know if that's a Canadian thing. I don't know if that was just a casino, but that was my experience over there. If you wanted a drink, you had to go up and pay for it at the bar. There were no cocktail servers going around. If you do go over there to the Fallsview Casino, go ahead and get a player's card, because parking over there is $60, and if I would have just got a player's card and played on that for 15 minutes, it would have been free. So I did lose out on that. That's a nice little tip that you might want to know. But other than that, not bad at all. Congratulations on 300 episodes, guys. Really enjoyed the episodes that y'all's wives made. Y'all married some good ladies. Those are some solid women. Congratulations, guys. Love the show still. I'm going to keep listening until y'all quit making episodes. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you. $60 to park.
Oh my gosh. Now it is Canadian, but still.
Well, it's still a lot in American money. It's still quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's a ripoff.
I'd be tempted to go back inside, no matter how late I am. Get a players club, play for 15 minutes. That's definitely worth it. Good advice, Dylan.
Because $60. Think about that, Mark. They build the parking structure, And they do nothing to them. Have you ever seen anyone inside a parking structure doing repairs or anything?
Well, I'm sure I have.
No,
What kind
you
of
have not. That doesn't exist.
Okay.
That job does not exist.
All right.
They paint it with paint that will last eons of time. So once that's paid for, they're just collecting, money from everybody. It's like a penalty for going to the casino.
Yeah, parking, especially now I don't know how close this is to other attractions, because I can understand charging for parking so that people don't park in your lot to go somewhere else.
Right. Well,
But,
yeah, and they could monitor that.
Especially a casino that's going to take your money anyway. Yeah, I agree.
Right, who already has an edge. I am tempted to write a sternly worded letter to the Fallsview Casino Resort in Niagara Falls, Ontario.
That's great. I love it because the beginning of the letter is going to be, I have never been in your city or to your casino. However,
but I understand.
So no free drinks. That's not that uncommon at casinos. But not even cocktail servers going around taking your order. That's a little surprising. Now, again, we don't know anything about it. Does it have to do with the laws in Ontario and or Canada? But
probably has to do with nobody bought them because they're $75 a drink.
I didn't know they were that expensive.
And it was made eons ago. It's just all watered down. Yeah, $70 for drinks. It's things are rough here in Ontario.
Now, the Tito tickets to tip, I don't think I've heard of that either, but it kind of makes sense, especially if it's a casino where dealers keep their individual tips. Now, I don't know if Fallsview Casino is one of those.
Right.
But yeah, you get the voucher and then you give it to them, as opposed to electronically tipping, which it would seem would have to go into some kind of pool. Unless, as a dealer, you logged into I don't know enough about it.
It'd be too hard to monitor the time. It probably is one of those where dealers keep their own tips.
Yeah.
And they carry a tip box around with them.
But that is the first I've ever heard about it. Let us know, folks, if you've heard of any situation where in order to tip a dealer, you actually had to generate a Tito voucher and then give it
I think I'll put that in my letter as well. That I heard the floors littered with like 5-cent Tito vouchers and stuff that dealers are disgusted with and just throw down.
Okay. I like you including that as part of your letter because not even Dylan indicated that was a problem. Right? You're actually making stuff up now.
I'm just assuming that's a problem.
That's good. Yeah. Let us know when you've got that letter drafted, Mike, and you send it via snail mail and let us know what you hear.
Right.
All right. Next up is Nicholas.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. My name is Nicholas. First-time caller. I've been listening probably for the last 50 or so episodes. But I wanted to reach out. One was a quick trip report. I recently went to Reno for the first time, and I played kind of in that little downtown strip area. Got to say, it's pretty debilitated these days, unfortunately. A lot of people just kind of living on the streets, unfortunately. But I got to say, the Silver Legacy has a really good daytime craps, roulette, blackjack, and three-card poker set up, all table games. I was really impressed. They have really low limits, and the crews were really, really nice. So I just wanted to give them a shout-out, especially Carmen dealing two-deck blackjack down there, which is, kind of rare to find two-deck blackjack at a, $10 minimum. So really cool, and Carmen's great. Second part, I have a question for y'all. I am going to Singapore and then the Philippines, and I'll be playing at some casinos in Singapore and then on a cruise ship as well in that area. Just curious if you guys had any questions about gambling in South Asia. If there's anything I should keep my eye out that would be cool to play, or, just anything in general to maybe even avoid. Anyway, thanks for the episodes. Happy New Year, and appreciate everything you guys do. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Nicholas. I can't think of anything specific other than to say, look for things in Singapore and Philippines that are significantly different from casinos here. Maybe games that we've never heard of, rules that we would typically not see here, or how you deal with money, or things like, cashing in, cashing chips, getting your chips, et cetera, et cetera. Just things that are different.
Yeah, and interesting, like naked people walking around, odd things at the buffet.
Yeah, I'll open that up to all listeners, actually. Naked people walking around and odd things at the buffet. It doesn't have to be in Singapore or the Philippines. Just let us know.
Yeah, you might have opened a can of worms there, Mark. I will also be sending Nicholas a syllabus with all the information he needs to write a sternly worded letter to the Silver Legacy Resort Casino.
Oh, well, he said it was just the surrounding area. Sherry and I drove by that
Well, he'll
that
write it
road
to the
there.
city council.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
inside the casino, it's okay, it seems.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he can write it to the city council, to the police department, the fire department, whoever.
All right. Strongly worded messages, the theme of the show, it sounds like.
Yeah, I like strongly worded or tersely worded.
Excuse my bluntness, sirs.
Yeah.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Brent from Northern California. A long time ago, I called in kind of just talking about Thunder Valley craps, and I visited recently and was pleasantly surprised that they had changed the layout at Thunder Valley Casino, which is a tribal casino here in the Sacramento area. The way the old layout used to be, and maybe Mark, you can help me explain this, is there used to be a red die and a blue die with a red spot and a blue spot on the table. And you would roll the die, and the stickman would pull out a randomized out of a card shuffler 2 cards and lay them on the blue and the red spot. Whichever die was higher, say the red die was 5 and the blue die was 2, they would flip the card on the red spot, and that card would indicate what the roll was, whether it be a 4, a 7, whatever it may be. Well, I visited recently after not going for a few months, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that they changed the layout on the table. Now, they have what most tribal casinos do in California, where there are 6 spots with individual die faces on cards on those 6 spots. But instead of having those spots be numbered, there's an associated color, which I think is actually helpful. Say at Harris, Southern California, you roll a 5-2. Well, it's not really a 7. Well, it could be, but it's not really 7 because you have to see where the 5 and the 2 spot are on the table. Instead, now there's like red, black, orange, yellow, green, blue. So you roll, say, blue-red, and that correlates to like a 3-1 or a 5-2. So it kind of eliminates the confusion of the numbers on the dice aren't really the numbers on the table. It's still a $10 game. They recently changed the bonus to be the all tall small, which I like and I think is fun. And sometimes, I haven't been recently, but it used to be a $5 table if you go mornings midweek. So if you don't want to go all the way to the Hard Rock Casino, whatever, far in Wheatland, there may be a better game for you if you live in the NorCal area. That's pretty cheap still. And you won't get the same comps if you're going to other Hard Rock properties that you may at the NorCal one. But at least you'd be a little bit closer and have some fun. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Brent. I'm glad that Thunder Valley Casino got rid of the old way that they did it. And we've seen this stupid. Before. Nobody liked it because pictures of dice were printed on playing cards, right? And you'd roll these 2 dice that would determine which card you flipped over. You flipped over the card and it was just a picture of, 2 dice, right? Oh, 3, 4. Nobody liked that.
And how do you know in there what the cards are? I think we asked that once.
Oh, yeah. It's like
somebody said, at the very beginning of the day, we spread them all out.
Yeah. What if there are more 7s in these decks? Right. You
what
have
if
no way of knowing.
Somebody took out a 6, at some point? How do we know? I just didn't like that.
Yeah. I like the new system that they've come up with.
Yes.
Better than what most places do, because one of the issues with trying to learn this stupid card-based craps is that you don't add up the pips that show up on the dice that are rolled. Instead, you look at the numbers on the dice, and then that corresponds to cards that they flip over. In this case, there are 2 dice, and each one has a different color on each of its 6 sides. And so it's the colors that so you roll the dice, green, red. And then you look and you determine which cards to flip over. It's going to be less confusing because people certainly can't tell from just colors on dice what number it would have been in a real craps game. Players who maybe are playing at Harris, Southern California for the first time, who don't know anything about it being card-based, may come up to the table and not even know it's card-based, or start looking at the dice. And they're trying to, wait, what's going on?
They're trying to figure out.
If you walk up to a table and the dice only have colors on them, well, you're going to ask, what is going on? How is this played? And so you wouldn't be confused right away. Or, because we've seen people get angry. They come up to the table and they think, oh, good, 11. I'll get paid on the pass line. No, it's actually a 3. What?
Yeah, you lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll solve a lot of problems except for those people who are colorblind.
Yeah,
and
course,
the colorblind stickman, that changes a lot of the problems
too. That's always an issue, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I do like Brent came up with a new name for this episode, Mark, instead of, Dr. Mike's going to write a sternly worded letter.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Valley Craps.
Another Dr. Mike exclusive.
Thunder Valley Craps. That way, when somebody Googles Thunder Valley Craps, our show comes up. Right? It's a way to get new listeners.
I'm going to try to make it so that it's your name that comes up. Maybe it's our show, but it's Dr. Mike. Oh, Thunder Valley Craps?
Thunder Valley Craps? Yeah, that's Dr. Mike. People probably don't know this, but I never get to decide what the name of the episode is. Mark does that on his own.
Yeah, and I'm pretty straightforward too. My titles are basically just what the show's about. I don't make it interesting or funny like 360
like
Vegas or 500. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm always curious when they come out to see what the title is. So I'm going to lobby for Thunder Valley Craps.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Every episode. We'll just mention it. Yeah, I took a Thunder Valley Crap today.
All right, next call.
Hey guys, it's Red Dan from Tulsa. I just finished up some work in southern Oklahoma, and I've got some work in Oklahoma City tomorrow, so I just pulled into the parking lot at the Riverwind Casino in Norman. I'm going to stay here tonight, and on my drive, I was working my way through, I'm now into 2018 on the podcast, and I don't know if y'all remember this call or not, but you had an angry, belligerent caller who was upset that you all didn't answer the phone. It wasn't a live call-in, and I was just cracking up imagining you guys answering your phone at any point in the day to offer listeners advice, and it got me thinking this might be your in for Patreon. I think you could charge maybe $100 a month, and people get a direct line to you, and they call, and it says, "Oh, thank you for calling. You can bet on that. If you would like some sound statistical mathematical advice, press 1 for Mark. And if you would like to learn more about how to parlay your carnival bets, please press 2 to talk to Dr. Mike." I don't know if I'd pay for that, but I would pay if you offered marital advice, because you guys clearly have it going on with all your shenanigans and going to the casinos all the time, and you're still married. So I'd pay monthly for that if you want to offer that advice. All right, here's my question for the evening. You got to pick one, hypothetical. You can only play craps for the rest of your life and no other casino game, no sports gambling, no slots, no home poker game, only craps, or no craps, but any other form of gambling. And just to make it interesting, not for Mark, but for Dr. Mike, this particular craps doesn't have hard ways. I'd love to hear your answer. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'm just going to answer very quickly because mine's a boring answer. I would give up craps so that I could do all the rest of the gambling, especially poker. But I'd really miss, being able to get.
Well, it was the home game when he added in home game. Yeah. I knew that was going to get you.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm okay. I'll just play craps. And I can live without the hard ways. So yeah, just craps.
Just craps. Okay,
that'd be fine with me. However, I'm going to add in that craps must be available.
Yeah, there you go.
On a 24/7 basis within walking distance of my house. I'd be fine if there was just craps.
All right.
Well, and a lot of tables. I don't want to walk in. There's just one table, and there's a line of 150 people waiting to get on a table.
Your caveat is that it has to be available, and I understand that. But I'm still a little surprised at your answer, but I guess I'm not shocked. Surprised, but not shocked.
That actually is a very hard question because, like today, I'm monitoring all the basketball games, even as I'm talking now.
Yeah.
I'd like nothing better than coming home, kicking off my shoes, printing up our sports bets for the day, and just staring at the TV until I get them all done at 1 a.m. and going to bed.
I know. I'm getting these texts from you. It's like 11 o'clock my time. It's like,
Yeah.
Doesn't Dr. Mike have school tomorrow morning?
And Lynn's always saying, "Are you still up?" And I'm like, I fall asleep and then I wake up like 10 minutes later and check.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's still 3 minutes left in this Nevada game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we're lucky here on the West Coast because we don't have to stay up as late to get the last of the scores.
Right.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mike and Dr. Mike. This is Zach from Northeast Georgia, a longtime listener, first-time caller. Just got back from a 5-day trip to Vegas with my brother and brother-in-law. Had a great time, my third time out there, their first time. Finally got my brother on a craps table for the second time. He had sworn it off after the first time after having some bad luck. And what would you know? I got him on a $5 table at Ellis Island, had him playing 22 inside, and we had 5.7 outs in a row. He was not happy. He said he would never play craps again, but somehow the next day I got him on one last time, and we had some great rolls. He made some money, and he got to see what all the hype was about. It's a good trip. One question I had from you is something that happened. Curious how you would have handled it. My brother was playing. He had a long session, playing 3-card poker, had lost a fair bit of money. It was 7 a.m. He was tired, constantly getting confused on the colors of the chips, and accidentally realized that he accidentally gave the cocktail waitress for a beer that was delivered to him, was trying to give her 2 white chips, 2 $1 chips, and instead gave her 2 green chips, tipped her $50. It was about 2 or 3 minutes later he realized the mistake that he had made, and he wrestled about what to do about it. Should he go say something? Should he just allow that $50 bet to stand or whatever? He decided to take the walk of shame, to find the waitress, to tell her what had happened. She proceeded to give him his $50 back. He gave her the $2 that he meant to give, but he felt completely embarrassed. He felt terrible. I'm just curious what you would have done. Would you have just accepted the $50 loss from the state and just bit the loss, or would you have walked with your tail between your legs and told the waitress what happened? I'm just curious what you would have done. Thanks for all you guys do. Love listening. Look forward to the shows coming out each week. Till next time. Bye.
All right. So Zach called back after he left this voicemail because he was talking to his brother. I guess he had misunderstood his brother's story originally, and it turned out it wasn't 2 or 3 minutes later that his brother realized what had happened. It was about 10 seconds later, and the cocktail server was still only 1 table away. So I thought it'd be good, Mike, if maybe we could answer what we would do in both of these situations. Now, I think in the case of what really happened, it's 10 seconds later and she's right there. No problem. You get up and, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, I gave you 2 greens. I meant to give you 2 whites. Is that okay?
Yeah,
it's no big deal.
That's no big deal. Yeah.
But what if it had been a situation where she's out of sight? Maybe you've played another hand already, and you look down and you realize that you've overtipped like that. What would you do?
Well, you know what I would do.
Nothing is what you would do, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
I would just be like, well, good for her.
Let's pretend you're a normal person and not somebody who's throwing around your money like a maniac, and that maybe, you know, this $48 difference really is going to make a difference to your whole bankroll for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
Would you go try to track her down? You know, what do you think?
No, I still wouldn't, Mark.
Okay,
I would just, things happen in life, right? I mean, I don't ever look back and say, oh God, I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. I, should have saved that money or something. It's just, it's lost money.
All right. Well, let's make it a little more interesting in your case. Let's say you accidentally gave her 2 $500 chips.
That I might go back for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you track her down.
Because that's a little ridiculous.
Okay.
I mean, I have tipped, $30, $40 to a cocktail waitress before when I'm on a big winning.
Yeah, when you're winning and
they're coming around like crazy, and it seems like every time they come, a point's made or something. But yeah, if it was $1,000, that might be a little overdue. That'd be like asking for something else besides drink service, right?
All right. So it's interesting because I think, as far as embarrassment goes, I think what really happened is actually more embarrassing. And maybe Zach's brother agrees with this, but because you're getting up, everybody's seeing you. You're going over to, she's right there at another table. So everybody's kind of witnessing what has happened. If it's several minutes later and you track her down, who knows? Maybe she's by the bar. She's not helping people or whatever. And you talk to her.
It's just between you and her.
Yeah, you might be embarrassed, in front of her, but maybe it's not a big public embarrassment like this one might have been.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, that quick exchange might be a reason not to go ask her, right? It's like, I don't want to see these other people at the table.
Wait until she's walked away and then say something. I probably would have tracked her down too in the situation where maybe she was gone for a little while. I don't know. It would depend.
Age makes a difference.
Yeah, age makes a difference. Your bankroll,
the alcohol,
the amount of alcohol,
the alcohol content, the alcohol content of your blood makes a difference. I mean, there's a lot of factors there, Mark.
Definitely. All right, let's hear from our good friend, Dr. Taylor.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. Two things. Yesterday, we played the NFL license slots. We played $20 on Ravens. Nothing. And then we're like, we should play $20 on Chiefs. Nothing. So it's about 10 minutes before the kickoff. We bet under before we left, and that's called science. The second thing, this is actually a scary story. It happened a couple of months ago. We were playing video poker at a bar top. There was a lady who was sitting left of us, got dealt 4 aces, and she was like, oh, 4 aces. So she got a hand pay good amount, and then she moved to the right of me, and she was playing Ultimate X 3 lines, and she got dealt 4 aces again. And I look at it, she's holding 4 aces, and this happened really fast. My mind went, why is she not holding the kicker? Maybe she's playing bonus poker or bonus poker deluxe. Oh no, she's playing double. I should say something. And she sent it. And it had some multipliers. I think she was just fixated on getting dealt 4 aces again. She did not think about the kicker. She did get redealt a kicker on one of them, but she lost out on $3,000. So $12,000 instead of $15,000. So for all the listeners, hold your kickers, and if you hear this one time, you'll never do it. Anyway, thank you guys for your podcast. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah. I've never had to worry about it because bonus poker is the most exotic video poker that I play. But yeah, if you're playing a game where those kickers matter on those 4 aces, watch out. Make sure you're paying attention.
Well, I think what Taylor is driving at here is take your time.
Yeah, that's another thing too. She was probably so excited about it. Maybe she didn't even know about the kicker. Which again, why are you playing?
Which then you don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, right. And who knows? People might be playing a game they don't completely understand, and who knows?
Right.
Again, amount of alcohol might have something to do with it too.
Right.
And he said it was a $3,000 difference. There were some multipliers there, but yeah, if you're talking double bonus, you have the aces with the kicker 2, 3, 4. That pays $2,000 for one. If your kicker is higher than that, it's only $800 for one. So it's significant.
That's a significant difference. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're going to play that machine, first of all, you should be in the mental situation to figure all that out. So you can't be too wasted.
The reason that you play a game like double bonus is for the big payoff, right? Is for those kickers, right? Otherwise, why are you even playing that game?
Unless you don't understand it.
Yeah, unless you don't.
No, you have to be able to understand it and everything. And then the other thing is if you're playing a game like that, just go a little slower so you have a second to look, right? With us, how we play video poker. I mean, you hit those things so fast. Yeah. We both have made mistakes on that at times because we've gone too fast.
Oh, yeah, especially if you don't have a made hand yet. Like, you don't see that you've got a pair of 3s, and instead you just hold on to the ace. And then it's like, as something you're pressing the draw button, it's like, So,
right, and then 2 3s come up or something.
Yeah.
You're just killing yourself. Yeah. One more thing about Taylor. He said that's just science.
Oh, yeah, on that Kansas City-Baltimore game.
Yeah.
I know you took the under on that, yeah.
I took the under. That seemed like an easy call.
Yeah.
27 points.
Well, and the over-under was 44, and they only scored 27 points between them, so yeah.
Right. And so if I made that bet, Taylor, I don't know if we can call that science.
Yeah, so science is very precise. You deal with facts, But if Dr. Mike is doing something that can't be science, is that what you're saying?
Unless it's at school and I formed a good hypothesis and then did the right kind of research to prove my hypothesis and turn it into a theory. At school, it works. In my real life, no.
Okay. I think that the scientific method, that applies to everyone, Mike, not just you. I don't know that we're making hypotheses and then testing them out before we make a sports wager. Well, maybe some people are.
Maybe I should write a sternly worded letter to somebody about that if people aren't doing that.
Write it to me.
Okay, I'll write you one.
Thank you.
Look for it in about 4 years.
Yeah, I will do. All right, last call.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brent from Sandy Springs, Georgia, calling in with the trip report. We went down to New Orleans. We drove down there, and on the way down, we stopped a few days early, spent 2 days in Biloxi, 2 days in New Orleans, and it was fantastic. Biloxi, love it. Easy drive. Give a shout out to the Hard Rock down there. I do want to reiterate that Harrah's needs to be torn down. That place is an absolute dump. Then on that Friday, we drove over to New Orleans, and it was on like Donkey Kong. My cousins were there. My brother was there, and we just had a good old time, and it's a fantastic place to play. My question is the following. So in Biloxi, it's kind of low limits, $5, $10, $15 for craps. New Orleans, the Caesars in downtown right there off Canal Street, it's all $25, $50, or $100 tables. And I noticed that when I started playing $25 tables, I started collecting chips. And I wasn't losing as much. My question is, at what table level is the best to play at? It feels like sometimes when I play 5, 10, even 15, I lose really quickly. But on 25, 50, I start collecting chips a little bit better. I start managing my money a lot better because it's, higher limits. It's a little bit more, got to have an iron stomach. So I just want to hear what y'all's thoughts are on that. Which table limit is the best limit to play at? Anyway, I highly recommend New Orleans. They're redoing the casino. It's beautiful. It's packed. And we had a good old time down there. Once again, thanks for the show. It's an absolute pleasure to listen. Y'all be good. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Brent. I think I heard some birds chirping in the background on
Yeah,
that
I
call.
did
It's
too.
kinda
I
nice.
thought,
yeah, it makes for a
I thought
nice
it was, is that the call or is my fire alarm
yeah, you
out
need
of batteries or
battery.
something?
Well, Brent, you're not going to be surprised when I say it doesn't matter what the minimums are at a table. It's all going to be the same if you play the same way. And it sounded, Brent, like, yeah, you were kind of changing the way you were playing.
Yeah,
because the higher limits,
course.
you were talking about money management and that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
from a
it reined him
psychological
in.
standpoint, yeah, it's going to make a difference. Of course, it doesn't make a difference as far as how the dice are going to go, but something to consider if you can take that mentality that you have when you're playing at higher limits and apply it to a lower limit game. Well, maybe you'll see you're losing less on that too. And of course, if you really literally want to answer the question, what's the best limit to play at? Well, the very lowest limit, because you'll lose the least amount of money.
Well, we see it, right? I mean, you go to a higher limit table and you change kind of your method.
That's true. Sometimes I will lose more money if the dice were exactly the same. I'd lose more money at a lower limit table because maybe I'm taking full odds when, at a high limit table, I'm scared. And I'm only placing the 6 and 8 for $60 each. I've actually got less money on a $50 table than I do on a $15 table. So, yeah.
Right, exactly. You're 15, so you're going across.
Yeah.
You're taking all the numbers. You're buying the 4 and 10 or whatever. Yeah. You're putting more money out there. When you're on that higher limit, you're like, oh, yeah, I better not get too aggressive.
Yeah.
So it does change how you think and play, except for me.
And how does it not affect you, Dr. Mike? What's your problem?
That's, Mark, they've been trying to figure that out for quite some time now.
What's your problem?
And I play the same no matter where I go. And that's my problem.
I remember even working back at the restaurant, Mike, people were always asking you, Mike, what's your problem?
What's your problem? Nobody's ever going to figure that out.
How about the students? Are they asking you that too now? You're a teacher?
Of course the kids are asking.
Yeah. Tell them they shouldn't even try to figure it out. You don't know, so you're not going to be able to answer them.
I'm not going to be able to help you with that. They get a kick out of me because like The sophomore guys, they're goofing around because they're 16.
Yeah.
And I told one kid the other day in front of the class, look, if you continue to do that, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to hug you really, really tight for like 5 minutes.
Now that's a good threat.
He settled right down.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I can't get in trouble for that. I'm just giving him a hug.
Well, threatening to give him a hug. Maybe
Yeah.
you can't get in trouble for. I don't know. The hugging part, I don't know about the policies in Minnesota. But
Well, it's a friendly hug.
tread lightly, Dr. Mike. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some donations. We got a donation from Jake for your school fund, Dr. Mike. So
Yes, thank you so much.
that. We also got some recurring donations for the podcast from Brian and Sarah, from Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel, and from James. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from our good buddy Eamon. He said, pass line or Minnesotan kids' shoes? Well, that's an easy one. We're just going to give it to the kids, right, Dr. Mike? No pass line wager for that donation, so thank you, Eamon. Also a donation from Patrick. He said, belated karma donation for my last AC trip and some additional money for Dr. Mike's school kids. Love the show. Look forward to one day meeting you all at the craps table. Thank you very
Patrick.
much, Pat. And finally, a donation from our friend Robin Aubin over at NE Time Gambling. He said 2/3 of this is for Dr. Mike's shoe donation. The other third is for You Can Bet on That. Thanks for the karma. Oh, yeah, he sent us an email. He hit a royal flush on a 5-play Ultimate X double-double bonus game.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so congratulations,
Nice.
Robin. Yeah. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That t-shirts. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Dr. Mike, Super Bowl, I don't know, the Chiefs and the 49ers, that's not very interesting, but how do you feel about it? You got any predictions?
No, it's funny because all the kids, all the senior kids who do some sports betting here in town, they have been asking me what I think. And, you know, to be honest, it's so hard to bet against Mahomes.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't really care for either team, to be honest.
Mhm.
And, you know, if San Francisco won, I'm fine. If Kansas City wins again, I guess I'll live. I'll probably have to write a sternly worded letter to the commissioner of the NFL, but I just don't know. I mean, I want to say San Francisco's the better team and should win easily, but Mahomes will pull something out, and Kelsey, you know, will have one game where he's hardly there, and then when they really need him, he catches everything in sight.
Yeah, right.
So I guess I'm going with Kansas City.
All right. Well, let me know closer to game time how you want to bet, and I'll put down the money for us. It should get high ratings, thanks to Taylor Swift. So it'll probably be one of the highest rated Super Bowls of all time.
Taylor Swift, and then the fact that, you know, most people are turning in to see Kansas City lose, hoping that, you know,
it could
things won't go their way, right? They don't want to have them win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close, though.
Okay,
I will say
that's
that.
what you want from a Super Bowl is you want a close, competitive.
You want
game,
a close game, yeah.
And of course, it's Vegas this year, and hopefully it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the game, Dr. Mike, and everybody else out there. You got anything else for us?
Well, I want to say thank you again to everybody who's been sending stuff, and the people at the school. I can't tell you how overwhelmed they are. And how
it's
happy
the outpouring from our listeners.
How
is something
big a difference it makes.
Yeah.
All the You Can Bet on That listeners have quite a bit of good karma coming their way from Caledonia, Minnesota.
Good. That's great.
So, yeah, people all the time are like, God, your fans are so great. And I said, yeah, they are.
That's great. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Goodbye.
Hey there, Ken from Tallahassee. Keep those 16s coming. I want to be completely broke in the next 4 seconds.